Yes, I am. I don't know what I'm going to present. Am I good?
We saw you. You're a movie star. We saw you on TV.
You know, if I sit here, if you give me a hook, I could kind of like hook them and pull them off.
We saw you guys. We were very fast. We were eating breakfast.
There's so many upset folks that night.
You even got a haircut, we said.
We did the wave, did you see it? No, but I had this.
Right. Slow and steady.
Psychopated behind me, this Brazilian, where they were tearing the place up.
Yeah, I couldn't either.
So, I mean.
Stacy's giving a speech.
No, I'm not. Herschel sits next to me and faculty sits next to me.
Check one, check.
You can get the church giggles. Yep.
The church giggles.
Got it.
Stop it, don't look at me.
Nice to see you.
Check one, check.
Alrighty, no worries.
It's good to have somebody sitting next to you.
Check one, check, check.
You're all better.
Check one, check.
To order the Board of Trustees, KCKCC Community College, March 19, 2019. And now we'll stand for our Pledge of Allegiance. And I'm going to ask Mr. Mike to come and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And now, may we have roll call?
Trustee Ash.
Here.
Trustee Brown.
Here.
Trustee Criswell.
Here.
Trustee Daniels.
Here.
Trustee Garner.
Here.
Trustee McIntyre.
Here.
Trustee Sutton.
Here.
All right, thank you. And now we will have approval of the agenda, and I believe we have a revised agenda.
Yes, under new business, I'd like to remove the second item as it was covered last month and it's just a carryover.
Okay,
I move approval with that amendment.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. And now, do we have any audience to patrons comments this evening? Seeing none, we will move forward. Now we have recognitions and presentations. We have a presentation by Ms. Jody Vogel, the Wyandotte Who's Who Gala to honor Roger Scuggs as a 2019 recipient of the Wyandotte County Who's Who at their gala on March 30th, 2019. Is she here?
Yes.
In the pink.
Hello.
You can pull it down.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm nervous. Well, my name is Jody Vogel. I have a youth organization called I Value Me. Since 2014, it was one day at a meeting, the kids had said, what is in Wyandotte County? What is going on in Wyandotte County? So the test was for them to find the grinders of Wyandotte County so we can appreciate them and show what they have done in our city. Now, on this year, on March the 30th, we will be honoring Mr. Roger for all that he has done. He has uplifted youth. He has went above and beyond. He has taken, I'm going to get choked up. He has turned around so many youth, and in actuality have turned around so many adults to be there for the youth. Mr. Rogers and the FBOE has shown multiple people, you know, through Facebook and through his postings and things like that, what he has done. And our youth will be, I don't have the actual, I don't have the plaque for him as of right now because we cannot pre-show them per the event. But I would like to tell Mr. Roger, I truly appreciate it. The youth have been extremely, you have gone way above and beyond. You've also been great in helping me to be able to help the youth in my time of health problems. You've been there for the youth when they've been depressed. Depression is so big right now. You've stood up for so many children when they were being bullied, and you have saved so many lives. And so on behalf of I Value Me, we will be honoring you, and we are thankful for you being a grinder in our city.
All right.
I just think that everybody here that made it possible, a willing board, president, Dr. Wilson, Dr. Terry, Andrika, Dr. Derek, it's that foundation is actually what this school is about. It ain't even a shameless plug. It's what it is. It's a one-stop shop. You can get your GED right across the street, come over here, and you want to get your degree, or go right down the street and get your technicals. You know, it's a one-stop shop. So the whole point of what we say is no excuses. If we show you the way and put the people in front of you, then it's truly on them. But those that don't think they have a chance, now they know they have a chance. So after that, it's strictly on them. But we have to at least show them that they have an opportunity. And the cool thing about this school is you can walk up to anybody, whether it be board members, president, anybody, and they will stop and talk. I think this is what will make this school more unique than a lot of other schools, because it ain't just playing by the books. Even though it's playing by the books, it means that you really can talk to and have a conversation, and they see different people that's higher up that will at least stop with them. It's like, you know, I don't like to say customer service, but it's great customer service knowing that you can stop somebody and they got time to at least talk to you about what's going on in the school. And that's what this whole thing implements at Kansas Community College. That's why I think that this is the best kept secret. It's no longer a secret. Like Tammy say, y'all belong here. It makes everybody feel like they belong here. And that's what we have to do. So I clap for y'all. Seriously.
Congratulations, Roger.
Congratulations.
He deserves it. He deserves it.
Thank you.
We see him in action on a regular basis, that's for sure. All right. Recognition of Dr. Stacy Tucker for having completed all 5 levels of the 5-star advisor plan for PTK, Phi Theta Kappa, and I believe Dr. Kruger is going to present that? Yes. Okay.
If I could ask Dr. Tucker to please stand and be recognized. We're very, very proud of Dr. Stacy Tucker. She's the Director of Honors in Phi Theta Kappa, and she has completed the highest level of the new PTK advising program. She is a 5-star advisor. I would also like to draw attention to the chapter that she runs here for Phi Theta Kappa of students. They were recognized at the regional convention on March 2nd for their Great Idea Award. They got second place. This is in my academic report as well. The Sister Chapter Award, they got second place. Service Award, they got third place. Distinguished Officer Award, they got an honorable mention for one of their officers. They are not only having a 5-star advisor, but they are a 5-star chapter. These are chapters that complete the highest level of programming throughout the year. So please help me thank and congratulate Dr. Stacy Tucker for this amazing honor.
That's great work.
Thank you. The only comment I have is those second place will be next year. They're going to stay in 2019. We want first place in 2020.
Great job. All right, now we have an art gallery update by Shy Perry. Okay, sure.
Okay.
There it is.
Good evening. How are you all doing?
Good evening.
Thank you.
And again, my name is Shy Perry. I'm the gallery curator. I want to start off by showing you all some images and telling you what we did during the fall semester. This show, Generation Removed, is an ongoing theme that I am curating. This one was for Latin American Heritage Month, and it was curated by artist Eric Felix. He's a graduate of the Art Institute, and he put together a wonderful show. And then this fall, we'll be having part 2 of Generation Removed, but Filipino, and this will be a national show bringing in 10 artists from around the world. Here, Eric is demoing to the students in Lower Jewel how to do printmaking. We also not only showed students here how to print make, but we did a workshop with the Johnson County Libraries for homeschooled students to be able to have an art class. This is a lecture that we had. This is Jazz Grades. Dan White has a wonderful collection of black and white photography of jazz artists for the last 50 years, and he came and spoke with our students. And this is from that event. We had most of the jazz program there, thanks to Jim. And then this was the third part of Unspoken Violence by George Mayfield. He received a grant from the Charlotte Street Foundation about 4 years ago, and he's continued on this project to bring awareness to violence, child abuse, and bullying in schools. Now for what's going on in the spring. This semester, we started a film series. We've done documentaries in the past, but we made an effort to have them and have them themed. So this was for Black History Month 2019. Legacy, Spirit of the Black Panthers, Never Been a Time, and Get Out were featured along with speakers. This is Lyle Gibson. And we show Get Out. Never Been a Time was a wonderful documentary. Denise Ward Brown was able to be here to speak to this terrible occurrence that happened in 1917 in East St. Louis that is not often spoke about, and her documentary has not been released yet, so this was the first time the public had seen the film. And then our show Good Negroes, which is curated by Tyrell Carter. And this is the pictures from the reception of that event. He is trying to get this show to travel throughout the nation. He's having a show right now in Missouri. And then he and I will be curating a part 2 to this show in Tennessee in the fall. We'll be giving a lecture there. We've co-hosted several events. RBG was another film. And this is Yarn Club occurring there. Our current show is Her Heart. And this is four artists, Dr. Krieger, Jennifer Gieshin, Taylor Bowles, and myself. So if you have time to come look at that show, I'd love to show you all the work. Then on April 2nd, we'll be having another film series. This is something we do every year. Luna Fest, it's short films by women about women. And then on April 8th, we're inviting women veterans to come have their photos taken to be a part of this campaign, I Am Not Invisible. And that will be set up for the show we will have in November. We'll show all the pictures that were taken of our faculty, students, and public.
Thank you. Excellent.
Very nice. It's a great example of the variety of art that we have at KCKCC and the great work that Shai's doing in the gallery. So thank you very much.
Okay, do I see Mr. Manny? All right. I thought you were going to not be here today.
Oh, man.
I was going to say we're going to have to capture him in the hallway. Glad you've been here. All right. A presentation by Mr. Jose Manuel Paredes.
Yes. Yeah.
And we call him Mr. Manny.
Mr. Manny, yeah.
And he's going to give a brief report as a student ambassador at the ACCT Legislative Summit, February the 10th through the 13th in Washington, D.C.
Yeah. Funny story about that, actually. I remember when I met Senate President Leah Shaw, she was talking to me about her experience as Senate President, and that kind of led into her telling me about her going into Washington for the same event. And I remember in my head thinking, man, it'd be great if I could go, right, and experience the same things. And lo and behold, I did. So that was pretty good. That was neat. But yeah, I got to go with student trustees and with Dr. Mojer, and it's a really good experience. I got to I got a little bit of an insight into the kind of push that is given to legislatives to keep the whole community college chain moving, and that was very valuable to me. And we also got to speak to legislatives like Sharice Davis, Congresswoman Sharice Davis, and that meant a lot to me. So that was awesome by itself. It was great. It was a lot. I remember going and doing a little bit of sightseeing with Dr. Mojer, and that was awesome. Just Washington is full of history, so just being there was great. The whole trip was amazing to me, and I am really grateful that I got to experience something like that, and grateful that students after me will get to experience it as well every year. It's pretty good. With that being done, I also wanted to make a small announcement, if I could, kind of like a plug. So for the coming semester, I plan on running for Senate President myself.
All right.
And yeah, I'm excited for that. There's a lot of things I want to do, and I just feel like getting to represent the student body is going to be something that will go with me after college, after community college, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm excited, very excited for that. I also made a few flyers that I want to give you guys after this is over, if that'd be okay.
That'd be fine.
Yeah, so Yeah.
Thank
That'll be
you.
all. Yeah.
We're excited about that.
Congratulations on that announcement. What was your most memorable moment or moments from the trip?
From the most memorable moment? Okay. Number one, it was getting to spend time with Dr. Mojer and with the student trustees. That meant a lot to me because I feel like very rarely in the college level you get to be close and personal with people that high above you, right? Even your professors. So getting to spend time along with them is something that I really appreciated. And getting to be with our legislators, having them listen to my story and what has happened in my personal life meant so much to me, because I mean, how many people can say that that's happened to them, right? The third thing was listening to the speakers. I got to learn a lot about the insides of community college. So those three things, yeah, they were the most memorable to me. Yeah.
Do you know where your driver's license is?
It's in my, I think I have it. Never mind, it's my student ID.
No.
I don't have it.
That's an inside story for another time.
Yeah. Failed you again.
Good to see you, man.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It was great to have you on the trip. Yeah, he did a great job.
We're going to be looking for great things from you.
Thank you.
All right, and our next is student report by Juan Baptista. Is he here?
No, he was going to talk about one of his projects that he was working on. He may not have made it this evening.
If he comes in, it's possible we could go back. All right, now we have board committee reports. Anyone have any committee reports that they want to give at this point?
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, the Finance Committee met on March 12th, and just some of the things we talked about were the fees, the Summer Kids on Campus program, an update on our signage. If you notice the signage, as we've spoken in the past, that the new signage is up. It looks good. And the old signage, our president and staff have found a renewed use for that signage, which they're going to basically just clean the signage and put it to good use as opposed to demolishing it. There's an update on the bridge. If you've noticed, we did upgrade the larger bridge over the pond, and the smaller bridge, it's ready to go. So looking forward to having that bridge put in hopefully shortly. And then just followed up on our mid-year budget review, and I can say as the chair of the Finance Committee is that our financial standing here at the community college is strong. So and with all the projects and things that we have that need to be done, and some of the things that you've seen here at the college that have been completed, it's good to know that we've been fiscally responsible, at least staff has, and that the future is bright as far as our financial standing. So that's it.
Any other committee reports?
I'd like to talk about the community engagement draft. And when we get to the minutes, I want to add some additional words into the description. And what I hope the trustees will do is just look at that, think about it, see if you want to live with it, and maybe here in a month or two we will return and vote on it. But that is a system of letting the public know what the heck the board does, especially in terms of community activities and supporting the college out in the community. So look at it and let me know what you think. It's not a done deal yet.
Any questions for Trustee McIntyre? All right.
Madam Chair, I just report from KCKCC. We met about 2 weeks ago in Topeka for the PTK celebration, and congratulations to our students there and all the students throughout the state. It was a great program, and then afterwards we had some business. The KCKCC underwent. The highlights would be really an update on the legislative session and things of concern to us as a system of colleges in the state. And then the other one is Linda Fund is retiring as the executive director of KCKCC, and so we're in a search process. There were, I believe, 4 finalists that were identified, and in the council president's meeting, Dr. Mosier was asked to serve on the vetting and selection for those finalists. I believe there were between 25 and 30 people that were seeking that position, so it's a very desirable position as the executive director of KCKCC. And so, we're in hopes of having a new director identified so that then they can go into transition planning before Linda retires in June. So the financial statement for KCKCC is good. The financial position is good. And so everybody is working hard with the legislators right now and the legislature, committee testimonies and those different things, tracking various bills and whatnot on our behalf. So we are optimistic that we've come out of that session maybe a little better than we went into it. So, and that's it.
All right, we have no other reports. We'll move on to, I need a motion for the consent agenda.
I mentioned I have a question about the consent agenda item D, the personnel, and I guess 2 questions. One, just explain to us what data cleanup mean, and then the other is, I don't want it to seem like the board isn't looking at this stuff, but there's one on here, effective date is, this is on this, it's not part of the data cleanup, it says additional position, and it says effective date 4/15/2009, and then it says a new hire, and it says May 9, 1982. And so if we don't speak out on these, we will really look like we're just asleep up here. So do you see where I'm talking about? Yeah. So I think data cleanup, and then the different dates, even if there was just something kind of in writing so that everyone would know that the board isn't sitting up here asleep and approving something, a new hire from 1982, and I'm sure there's an explanation, but it just needs to be clarified so that people will know we are paying attention. So.
What?
Okay. On the first, on the separation information, several, it says data cleanup.
Right.
Okay.
So the data cleanup, we have found in our system that there are active employees listed in the system, but they have not received a paycheck from us from the date listed from the effective date. So we have removed those, termed them in the system, and removed them from the system so that we can have better records of our employee count.
Okay.
So I'm looking for the other one where you see 1982.
It says new hire, Jonathan R. Friedland.
So this individual is currently employed here. This is their effective date, it looks like, of their initial employment. We've added a part-time lab assistant position to them, to their position. And so this was effective, would have been in March, so we can clean that up.
Okay. And then at the top of that page is James Zeeb. It says additional position, and it says April 15, 2009.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is the one that I was referring to as additional position. So this is their start date.
That's when they started, was 2009.
Right. And then, so their effective date for the additional adjunct position would have been this March.
Okay.
And then I just noticed the 5/9/1982. This is actually a new hire. And I'll have to do some double checking on the effective date. It's obviously not 1982, but I don't know. I'll have to check to see if the actual start date is 5/9 or is it truly in March.
Okay.
And I can get back to you on that.
Okay, so Chairman, do we pull that out or that, as far as the approval goes? Because I'm okay with everything else on consent item D, except for those that I question.
Okay, we will ask for approval of this consent agenda minus the corrections of the ones that were mentioned. So do I have any questions as far as that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda minus the corrections that have been mentioned. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Sutton, for your lie. Okay. And now we shall have a report by the Student Syndic, Ms. Aaliyah Shaw, the President.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It's nice to see you all. So to begin, I just want to say that I'm very, very tired. We went to the girls' basketball game, the first one in their championship. We left at 4 a.m. today. Don't know how that happened, but we all got there on time. It was very nice. And so we had about 20 students and a few community members that attended, and they won 82-56. Right? Like, they didn't just win, they won. Oh my goodness, amazing. Great energy as always. It was very nice to be able to go there. We made good time. The travel was not too bad. And so it was very nice to be there and experience that with them. But we also wanted that experience to be here on campus as well. So we had a watch party for the staff and everyone that was here at 9 a.m. today. So everyone that could watch, we tried to bring that here too. And Mr. Herschel was there as well. He came as well. He's wearing a Blue Cruise shirt, and so he's very tired as well. But we will have a watch party tomorrow for everyone, including the students, because we will not be going to that game. But we do plan on them advancing, and we are making preparations or have made preparations for Friday and Saturday. And so that support's still here. We'll have a watch party tomorrow at 6 p.m. because that is when they'll be playing. And so we're really excited about that. They're doing amazing and also very, very humble. They make landslide wins like this with 26 points, but are still so very appreciative of us being there and having that support. So it was great energy and amazing to be there for them. And so, yeah, I guess, I'm very tired, but it was worth it. So, yeah. So the format is just going to be talking about some events happening around campus. Then I'll go into more specific things with student engagement and go into more things about Student Senate. All right. So Wednesday, I talked about that. So March is Women's History Month, as a lot of you all know, and I want to talk about a few events that have been happening this month. One that the board chair, Trustee Brown, had attended, which was Women in Politics, and we had a few elected officials such as Susan Ruiz and former Mayor Carol Marinovich, as well as Trustee Brown attend, and we heard a lot of amazing experiences about what they did while being within politics and also being within the community. And so it was nice to be able to sort of put that together and have like community members as well as like our trustees there and represent the school and talk about their experiences as women within politics and also what they are doing now that still includes some of those narratives. And so that was amazing. And Women's History Month has featured a lot of great and diverse speakers. And so we also had Dr. Carol Coburn from Avila University, and she came and talked about feminism, peace building, and global advocacy. And so we have a diverse group of women and also a diverse group of subjects to talk about with Women's History Month that has been very, very exciting. And A few other things happening around campus were things such as the transfer fair, where colleges came and talked to students about moving on to other institutions. There were quite a bit of colleges that came from our region. TRIO also did college signings with students that were moving on to new institutions. I was able to participate in that. I know a lot of other students were as well, and that was very exciting. And as Shai was speaking about, we also had a Ruth Bader Ginsburg documentary, Pizza with the President at the PCC. Miss Kansas came, and the thing about all 5 of those events I just mentioned is that they happened on the same day. And so what's exciting about that is that we do so much here on our campus that sometimes we sort of forget about it, and students participate so much, and we do so many things with our clubs and organizations that it may get lost, but we do great things and things that students participate in, and sometimes they can't do all of it, but the some that they can do and come to, it's very exciting to see. And so it was nice meeting Miss Kansas. I know Dr. Mosier, when we had spoke during his meeting, he said Pizza with the President was pretty successful, and so yeah, great things. And recently, via the Intercultural Center, they had the My Shelf to Yours book sale from the 12th to the 14th, I believe. And so what's interesting about that is not only is it a way for students to engage the ICC in a different way, but all of that money that the book sales accumulate goes straight to student scholarships. And so the books were only $1. Sometimes it was even less to that. It depends on what happened. But all of that money, even though it didn't cost the students a lot, it went back to the students themselves. And so that's just a few ways in which we're still engaging students, getting them thinking about scholarships and raising funds in a way in which it's still very viable for them to engage with organizations on our campus. And so that's very, very exciting. And just to talk about some community outreach and connectivity, our jazz trio here performed at the Mason Jar recently on March 7th, and so they're still doing that. We also had a few events such as like Jazz by the Lake, that's still happening, and so that's very exciting to see. And to go more in depth on the importance of like student engagement and participation and things that may not usually be conventional, in regards to trips such as like Washington, D.C., I recently had an experience where I had an interview with the Kauffman Foundation, and they asked about engagement and being able to engage with someone that may not look like you or may be different from you. And I was able to call on the experience that I had in Washington, D.C., where I spoke in front of Jerry Moran, Kevin Yoder, and also a staffer from Pat Roberts, people I had never met before, people that do not look like me. But I was able to share my story and engage with them and able to recall that experience to use it to my advantage and also talk about that. And so the reason why I bring up this experience, not only to engage my narcissism a little bit, but also to really just show that the impact of this participation and the impact of these opportunities that you give students really do make a difference. And so I will also be going to Washington, D.C. again this year with TRIO to talk about student support services and the impact that has made. So that experience from last year, again, I can recall on and recount to be able to talk about that, and that'll be a policy seminar. So that's exciting as well. So other things Student Senate has been working on are things such as like the pool tournament, and we will have a ping pong tournament in our game room, things that like help students and things that engage students a little bit more, but also is very fun to do and just to create more visibility on campus, but also still have fun. And recently, the Student Senate sent out their budget proposal templates. Each semester or each spring semester, all of the clubs have to fill that out and send them and then present that to us as far as like budget justifications. And this year what we have is a rubric for them to go off of to make the process a lot smoother. So we sent those out, clubs are filling those out, and we'll have budget hearings throughout April. And those are scheduled for the 16th and 18th, and we have a few more scheduled just in case we need to. And those go from 12 to 4:30, I believe. And so, yeah, as Manny was speaking about, we have Student Senate elections going on. And what I loved about this semester is that so many students were engaged with the elections. We have a great slate of people running. I know there are quite a few people running for president. And what's exciting about that is that there's quite a few people leaving and going to other institutions this semester. So we need to fill those spots. So I'm excited to know that a lot of people want to be engaged, want to be student leaders, and want to participate. And so we will be voting on our new positions for president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary. And so within that new leadership, we'll be voting for them specifically on April 4th and the 5th. So yeah, any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Shaw?
Yes.
Well, we certainly know what she did in Washington, D.C., and we're expecting her to be in Washington, D.C. one of these days. We appreciate all the enthusiasm you have, and look forward to you sharing that with the students here at KCKCC.
Yes.
Thank you so much. May I get a motion to accept the Student Senate report?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the Student Senate report. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Now we have our president's report.
All right, thank you very much. And I guess there's really no doubt on what President Shaw does in her spare time. So, you know, as she was speaking about all the activities that the students are taking part in, and as we've had our presenters this evening talk about all the different activities that our employees and our staff and our students are involved in, it just is a great example of so many additional things that KCKCC does as a college that we're just talking about the very tip of the iceberg here. So it's always incredible to hear. So thank you very much for that. Also, I'd like to congratulate our women's basketball coach because he was named the Coach of the Year for District B this morning, so that's very good. I want to give just a little bit of an update on our strategic plan, so we continue to move that work forward. When we presented to the board in December, we identified 5 strategic priorities that we wanted to address, and that was number 1, student success, 2, quality programs and services, employee engagement, community engagement, and then institutional excellence. And there's no doubt that we are striving for institutional excellence all the time. As we've been meeting and we've been discussing the different ventures that we want to achieve in the next 3 years, it became very clear and apparent that institutional excellence is really engaged and involved and embedded in those other 4 priorities. So we have taken institutional excellence off as a 5th priority, and we've embraced that, and we're emphasizing that in our other 4. So you'll see that modification coming in the next draft that you take a look at. So a lot of good work done by Mike leading this charge and by the steering committee and everyone. So I appreciate that very much. We recapped a little bit on our progress that we're making working for KCKCC downtown at Wyandotte High School in fall 2019. So we're very excited about moving forward with that. For the public, we are looking at offering about 4 or 6 general education 100 level courses. We're looking at developmental education for English, reading, and math. We're looking at technical programs focusing on 2 areas to start, and that is the administrative office professional area and also carpentry and construction, so offering a wide variety of courses, and then of course ESL and GED. So a lot of great work going on with that, and we meet again with the Wyandotte High School administration 1 week from tonight. If you'll just indulge me just a little bit, everything that we're doing as a college, our community connections continue to grow and grow. So I just looked at my calendar during the last 3 weeks, and these are not just individuals that that I or Tammy and I have met with, but it's individuals, it's people and organizations who are seeking out Kansas City, Kansas Community College because they want to be engaged with what we're doing and where we're headed as an institution. So as an example, excuse me, some of the people and organizations that we met with, the civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army for Kansas, talking about veterans programs, representatives of the Hispanic Development Fund to talk about how we can engage and reach out to the Latinx community more. An incredible gentleman, Mr. Jim Eccles, who is really wanting to work with the college and provide his services to discuss ways that we can really reach out to the urban core, the people living downtown KCK, and how we can help. The executive director of KCKCC, I'm in the habit, KCKCC, of KCK's Housing Authority on how we can partner together for programmatic opportunities and maybe to provide housing for our homeless and hungry students. Had an opportunity to present at Village West Rotary and talk about some of the direction we're going as a college. Met with K-State, Olathe campus, and possible new articulation agreements. And then had the opportunity, really unique, and I loved, because I love chili, by the way, to be the judge at the historic Northeast Midtown Association annual chili cook-off, which was incredible, and several of our board members were there, Board Member Criswell and Chair Brown, and I think others, did I miss? They're there. But yeah, great night. Have to admit that I was part of picking the winning chili, but it was pulled pork and green chili. So growing up in the Southwest, I mean, that was a no-brainer. And Judge Martinez was on the selection, on the committee with me, so I mean, that had to win. So just so many good things going on at the college. I just wanted to share some of those with the board and with the public. The Summer Kids on Campus program. We are Kids on Campus. We're working on that. That will be going this summer. We have Dr. Marissa Gray with us in the audience tonight. If she wants to expand, but we're looking at, instead of an 8 weeks, looking at a 6 week and condensing it a little bit and still offering a whole wealth of programs to our youth in the community. And this year partnering with an organization that may have about 90 youth that it serves through its organization, and they will work with KCKCC for our summer programming. So those are kind of the highlights. Dr. Gray, do you want to add anything to that?
The only thing I would add, our enrollment will open April 1 online. We're able to keep the registration again at $79 with the condensing of the program. We are, during the 6-week period, we will go according to subject matter. So week 1 will be architecture, then we move into technology. These are all based on partnerships that are coming from our community and K-State. So we're really excited. We've set a high goal, and with the enrollments opening in April, we anticipate on making that goal. So thank you.
How many students can we accommodate in that program?
Our goal is 200 this year. Last year we served 175. So
it is a great program. Yes, it is. Want to keep it going, and whatever we need to do, we'll give you that support.
we will do that. Thank you very much.
Quick question. I heard the figure 79, was it $79?
It's $79 per week.
Per week. Okay.
Per week. And if individuals sign up before May 1st, then they get a slight discount of a week. So last year we had multiple family members, so that's why we are striving to keep it at that $79 so that families don't have to pick and choose which student they can send to camp.
I see.
And do you have to attend all 6 weeks, or can you pick or choose a week if you can't attend all of them?
You can pick and choose, so it's still a la carte based on last year's service. And that worked well for our community because people do take vacations, and we didn't want to lock them in to having to be here. But they do have to sign up in advance of the week they want to participate by the Friday before. So we're able to get a count, get the bus schedules out. We have a great relationship with the school district's busing service. So all of our participants do ride the bus here if we know in advance.
And final question, is there any type of scholarship funding or anything like that available for those who are not in a position to fund that?
We are working on that. We're working closely with our new foundation person to find scholarship opportunities, but we're hopeful.
Good.
Yes.
And on that note, has there been thought or discussion about for our lower income people in Wyandotte County, maybe reducing that fee. The college has picked up a considerable amount of funding this year, in the past years, and this is a good program, as we've all had mentioned. And this is, how long has this program been in existence?
This will be our 21st year.
And I believe at a time this program was free for our students.
It was free, and then it moved to $25 for a long time.
Yes, and I understand the cost constraints, but I would like to see, just as being a trustee, at least finding a way to where we can accommodate the least fortunate in our community, because education is a value. If we're going to move people from poverty to hope and improve their destiny, we have to make those commitments, and you've got to make those investments, in my opinion, in people's lives, because that's not only going to improve our city, but it's going to improve those lives and those families' lives, not just today, but for generations to come. So I would like, Mr. President and staff, if we could just find a way moving forward to really find a way to look at maybe finding a reduced or even a free option for people that can show that they are distressed economically, or that they're low-income people in our community. Because when you talk about a community college, I mean, we've got to invest in this community, to see it improve. So that's just my position.
We will do what we can. Thank you, though.
Thank you for that additional information. So it's also my privilege tonight to introduce to you our new Kansas City, Kansas Community College Foundation Director, and that's Miss Mary Spangler. And for more than 20 years, she's been working in advancement and the philanthropic sector in Greater KC, and has really a strong passion to serve the Urban Community College mission. So with that, I'd like to ask Mary to stand up, and if you want to say a word or two.
I'm really delighted to be here, and thank you, Dr. Mosier, for those nice words. I also know that, having been in the nonprofit world for a long time, that our success is only as good as our volunteer leadership of our organization. And we're lucky this year that we have Mary Ricketts as our chair of the KCKCC Foundation, and I'm delighted to be able to work with her. And many of you know Mary. She's been a part of our community for several years, and she's very passionate about Kansas City, Kansas, as her community, as her neighborhood. And I think as we were getting ready to walk down here, she described it as her home. And that's the kind of passion and enthusiasm that we need as we carry forward to advance the great work, all the great things that the community college is doing. I'll stop there because I get kind of excited about all this great stuff, but I do want to introduce Mary Ricketts, and she would like to give you a little update on the foundation.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Let me give a few talking points. I promise I'll go through them real quick, because I am absolutely grateful and proud to be on the board and be the chair of the board. It is exciting. I know most of the faces on our trustee board and some in the audience. So as you all know, the foundation's primary focus is to grow the available scholarship funds for all of our deserving students. In 2019 academic year, through the generosity of all of our alumni, our individuals, local businesses, and our family foundations, the foundation awarded $184,697. Yay! We were able to help about 179 students overcome the financial barriers to pursuing their economic dreams. So we do have for each of you, hot off the press, an annual report shortly. It does provide a little bit more detail on the work that the foundation has done over the past year. So take a little time to read it, and you'll also see some of the stories that are in there and some of the things that are really impacting the lives of our students. So I know that many of you here are loyal donors who support our students. And I do have to give a fabulous shout out to what Tammy and the team did last year in getting the faculty and students participate in giving as well. So I want to just say thank you on behalf of all of our students and the foundation. Now, the foundation signature event is coming up on April 27th. This is our big annual Mid-America Education Hall of Fame induction. It is going to be held here at our Tech Center. We have another prestigious class of Hall of inductees, just to name them, Mr. Leon Brady, Miss Rebecca Duckstein, and I hope I'm saying her name right, Duckstein, thank you. We have Dr. Jacqueline Vietti and Mr. and Mrs. Michael and Guadalupe Dean. So we will give you a press release that shares a little bit more of the background and their stories. They are a very commendable group, and is always the case with our annual Hall of Fame. So thank you for those of you who have already gotten your tickets and a full table. Thought I'd add that one in there, Mary. We are so excited. We are looking forward to this one. We need this one to be the biggest one we've ever had. So we need everybody's support, audience, those watching live. We need you to grab your table, and we have included an invitation for each of you. So if you haven't had yours yet, you're going to get another one. Thank you for your support on behalf of the students and the foundation. Thank you.
Can I get a motion to approve the president's report?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the president's report. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, and now it's time for the Marketing and Community Outreach Officer report. Mrs. Tammy Artuni.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening. Happy to be here. I'd like to just pause just for a second, if I could just circle back to Mr. Manny and Ms. President Shaw. When I was listening to you both talk, it really struck me that what we do every day and what we try to express in words and actions is what you are experiencing, which is opportunity and access. And I'm just so pleased that every month we get to hear these stories. I'm not going to cry today. So that's, thank you. Thank you for what you do for us. So, Dr. Mosier did share a lot of what we've been working on collaboratively with ourselves as well as our team about our outreach activities the last few weeks. I would bring your attention to some of the selected post performances that I included in my packet. So, not surprisingly, some of the highest post performances were due to the weather. So thank you, Kansas weather, I think. So reached over 6,000 on a couple different posts because of our early, I'll say early notice of partial closing, late opening, and then closing due to weather. And then our third most successful post was about the daycare center. So our request for proposals reached almost 4,000 people. And that was just a single post, and we've been posting that about every 2 to 3 days to freshen it. So I'm really pleased to see that. And then a couple of activities that we're working on. We have built a team to work on April's Community College Awareness Month activities. We'll once again do that. So look for that information to come out. The date that the team worked on today is the 16th. That isn't exact, it's not a firm date for the pancake breakfast, but that's kind of what we're targeting in April. So stay tuned, we'll let you know for sure. We're also working on the back to school fair. So every summer we've been blessed to be able to offer that and assist with that program. We are also working with the Wyandotte County Fair Association this year, doing some co-marketing activities, so watch for that. We're also planning to do, do you hear that beeping? That's okay. Is it, oh, okay, sorry, I got distracted. We will have either like a KCKCC day or a KCKCC evening, wrapped up with an alumni event at the fair. I just don't have the details yet. We're just kind of getting that worked out now. That's really my update. Let me see, what else did I have? I welcome questions if you have any for me.
Questions?
No questions. I just have a comment. Ms. Bartunik, I wanted to thank you for your efforts in the marketing and in the outreach. Particularly, what I became aware of was the television advertising. I was walking by my TV, minding my own business, ignoring the commercials as I always do. And the Kansas City, Kansas Community College commercial was outstanding. If I had been a student in a position to choose community college, university, why should I go there? It clearly and very effectively communicated the message of why KCKCC. So I just wanted to thank you and congratulate you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, I'd like to also thank Tammy for the work you did with the foundation. For a long time there, you were pulling double duty. You did both jobs great. So we're happy to have Mary on board, but really want to thank you.
I'm happy she's here too.
Yeah. You're happier than I am. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, that's a great place to end. So I'm done.
There you go.
I move approval of the report.
It's been moved.
Second.
And seconded that we approve the Marketing and Community Outreach Officer report. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. Now we will have a report by our Vice President Academic Affairs, Dr. Beth Krieger. I'm trying to get it right.
No worries. Thank you so much.
You will answer no matter what I call you?
Absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, no, if that's the biggest issue I have today, life is really good and I need to be grateful. So thank you. I'm just going to give you a few highlights from our academic affairs. Of course, you already know about Dr. Stacy Tucker being our 5-star PTK advisor and how amazing and exciting that is. Some other news from the area are the athletes and writing center peer tutors, Ms. Swanson, who plays basketball, yay, women's basketball, and Mr. Merida, who is soccer, both received academic recognition at the KCKCC Athletics Award ceremony on February 14th. So our as student athletes not only are doing wonderful things academically, but they're also peer tutors, which is pretty awesome. There's an academic symposium that's going to be hosted on April 7th from 9:30 to 11:30. Here on the main campus called Some Days and Some Nights, Disrupting Suicide in Both a Student and Veteran Population. This is an important topic, and the event is being co-hosted by the Center for Teaching Excellence and the KCKCC Military and Veterans Center. KCKCC sent a team of faculty and a dean to the American Association of Colleges and Universities General Education Assessment Conference in San Francisco. They also, this group is developing a revised general education assessment process for KCKCC, and they brought back some interesting information from that conference. This is very exciting. The KCKCC Chamber Choir received a standing ovation at the 2019 Kansas Music Education Association All-State Conference in Wichita on February 22nd. So that's really exciting. And we have a current KCKCC music student and vocal student, Trevor Thelke, who tied for second place in his division at the regional auditions of the National Association of Teachers of Singing held on the KCKCC's campus in February. So we have good things coming out of that area of our college as well. Math faculty member Ms. Dagny Velasquez has been asked by the Kansas Department of Education to serve on a statewide task force as part of a forum to initiate a multi-state effort to help bridge gaps between high school and college mathematics, one of my favorite subjects, but not everybody's. And this forum is hosted by the Conference Board of Mathematical Sciences, so some great things that our faculty are doing as well. Speaking of, Ms. Chris Ball, who is our Administrative Professionals Program Coordinator, attended or will attend the annual Higher Learning Commission Conference in Chicago. She serves as a peer reviewer for HLC and is the co-chair of the College Steering Committee, which is charged with assembling the HLC accreditation argument. She's also hosting for our own administrative professionals here a Lunch and Learn workshop session, and my executive admin assistant attended it this month and had really positive things to say about it. So I really am grateful to the faculty for who have talents to give back to our administrative professionals, and that's excellent. On Monday, March 25th, Professor Polly Hawk and the Women in Literature class of KCKCC Arts, Communications, and Humanities divisions will deliver a presentation entitled Dying Without Conclusion, Women Writers on Peace and Nonviolence. And this event will be held in the Interculture Center from 10 to 10:50. All are welcome. And if you take a look at page 5, of my board report, you'll see there are a lot of really exciting events being held by the Intercultural Center, the Art Gallery, which our curator just talked about, and many other exciting things at the college. There's a photo in here. On March 7th, the college graduated its 4th cohort of preventative maintenance inspection students, which is really cool. This is an engine and machine maintenance upkeep and repair program, and there's a picture in your board packet. Many of the students in the program use this to help them get ahead in their job or to also get started on a diesel mechanic pathway. So that's very exciting. In addition, the Tech Center, they're doing night programs to help industry professionals who are adjuncts for us to bridge the gap between industry and teaching. And they've been having very successful mentorship and educational training there. And I have a little more information in there on that, but this is a really good way to help our business professionals who want to teach with us be able to bridge that gap. And that's very excellent as well. Let's see. Oh, this was very cool. The Office of Technical Programs Director, Ms. Donna Shaw, Perkins Grant Coordinator, her office hosted the Non-Traditional Student Networking Group. The guest speaker was Ms. Linda Warner, KCKCC Director, Counseling and Advocacy Center, who addressed challenges in the workplace, in particular those faced by non-traditional students after graduation. So, real good way to serve our non-traditional students too, which is very exciting as well. One of my favorite things, fire science. Remodeling for the fire science learning spaces is progressing well, and the facilities are fully functional now, and the fire science faculty and staff are excited to welcome the HLC, Higher Learning Commission team, for a multi-site visit on April 18th and 19th, and they're also going to be visiting our Auto Tech Center. On March 12th, this is also exciting, the Kansas Board of Nursing reapproved the Associate Degree Nursing Program following a focused visit for declining pass rates because the pass rate in 2018 was raised above the 70% threshold. This was a full approval with no conditions, and I think that's really awesome. And then finally, I just wanted to talk a little bit about a service project. There's a lot more information in my report about it called Noah's Bandage Project. This was a little boy who passed away, unfortunately, and he was a cancer survivor. And he felt that all children should have fun Band-Aids after they get a needle stick to signal that, okay, the needle stick's over. We all know those are awful. And so the Health Professions Division is running a project from March 12th to April 12th to collect fun Band-Aids. So I went to the dollar store the other day, and actually someone had cleaned them out, so I've got to go to a different dollar store to do that. And there's a list in my board report of where you can find these, and there's a picture of Noah. So if you walk around the college and you see a big box with Mr. Noah's picture on it, you'll know this is a great place to put those Band-Aids for our bandage project. And I want to thank you for your time. I won't take up any more of it. Do you have any questions tonight?
Any questions or comments?
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
Last year, the sheriff's office donated a car.
Yes, sir.
To the college to be hopefully cleaned up and spruced up and used to promote particularly the criminal justice program, but really just to promote, the college out there in the community and so on and so forth. I'm wondering how we're coming along with that that project? Is it still underway, or?
It's my understanding, because I've heard about it, that, and again, I apologize because I'm still pretty new here, that it's underway and there are things that are being done to make sure that the vehicle is usable, but I can bring a report back on that next time if you'd like, sir.
That'd be fine, thanks.
Yeah, and again, that is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the report?
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the academic affairs report. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you so much.
Now we will have a report from the Student Affairs Division. Dr. Delphi Wilson.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, so I definitely need to start by congratulating the ladies basketball team, so that we can't say congratulations too many times. They did fantastic this morning, playing against Chesapeake, and as Aaliyah mentioned, they're moving on to play tomorrow at 6 p.m. They'll be playing Pima, who is number 6. The college is hosting again a watch party, just like they did this morning. We'll do it in the evening. I don't know if you guys know this, but Miss Andrika and her team provided breakfast for the watch party this morning. So that was a wonderful thing for them to do. And I'm sure they'll probably have some kind of snack or something for tomorrow evening's party. Along with the ladies doing great, Dr. Mosier mentioned how our coach received a recognition. So I've got a list I want to share with you. So there was some postseason awards. Player of the Year, you guys all know Miss Nija Collier. She did great. And Coach of the Year was Joseph McKinstry, our coach. First team all conference, they named Nija Collier and Kissy Young. Second team all conference was Miss Lily Moore. And third team all conference was Miss Lenija Evans. So kudos to the ladies basketball team. And hopefully after tomorrow, we will move forward to the next step. And I know that there is going to be a lot of excitement from the student body to go to that event. So from an enrollment perspective, we will start our summer and our fall enrollment will open up on April 1st. We will also host what we call express enrollment on April 12 and 13. We will have extended Friday evening hours and Saturday on those days for hopefully our students to come out and register early. We'll post the information on our social media, on our website, and our admissions team will reach out to students, in particular students who had not enrolled, students who dropped out from last semester, and encourage them to come out and get registered for the summer and for the fall semester. The student success advisors will be working with our instructional deans, with Dr. Terry, Dr. Krieger, and our faculty, reviewing midterm grades. So students who received a D or F for their midterm grade, our goal is to be able to reach out, or to have someone who is going to reach out to that student and offer some support and see if there's anything that we can do to, help them moving forward. And my last thing was that KCKCC is now a recognized Student Veterans American chapter, or our Military Veterans Center is a recognized Student Veterans chapter. And I really don't have a lot of information about what that entitles, other than I know that there was an application process, and Dr. Terry might be able to share a little bit of more information. Stephen, are you able to share a little bit? Sure, if you want. Yes, please. I think they would want to know, right? Wouldn't you guys want to know? Yeah.
Well, because you all supported us starting the Veterans Center, which is doing absolutely amazing, over 400 visits this semester, in the fall semester, and we're well over 200 so far this semester, so they're doing great things down there. The Student Veterans of America is a national organization that recognizes the great work that Veterans Centers at college campuses do across the United States, and this provides opportunities for our student veterans for scholarships, networking opportunities, and mentorship with other student veterans veterans who have really paved the path in the way for those veterans to be able to connect with and mentor for opportunities around career placement, advisement, things like that. And so this is a really great opportunity just for our college to already be recognized as a school that's on the path of greatness around how we continue to serve our military and veteran students. So really excited about that. And we hope that in the next year we're able to apply to be one of the recognized 100 military and veteran-friendly schools in the U.S. We're already a military-friendly school through the Military Times magazine, but we want to be recognized as one of the top 100 community colleges in the country for the military-friendly list next year. We hope to be able to do that. And so continue working there, and great stuff. We appreciate the support. Thanks.
Thank you, Stephen. And that completes my report.
Any questions, comments?
I just have a comment. I was reading a report on page 5, and my question, actually I do have a question, sorry. My question is, when do you anticipate having the financial literacy program in place? I understand you're looking at several different options as far as program types, if you will.
Yes.
Is there a target date for that?
Hopefully very, very soon. We just received the service contract that was reviewed by our legal team. It was just received last Thursday, I think it was last Friday. That information will be submitted to Dr. Mosier and Michael Beach for signature. So as soon as they sign the dotted line, we are hoping to be able to go ahead and implement that financial literacy program. So tentatively, I would say to, answer your question, I would say by May would be a good goal. I don't expect that it's going to take very long. It's all information that they'll be able to download and provide to us right away. So it's something that we should be able to, with our IT team, be able to get to our students immediately as soon as the service agreement is signed.
Excellent. I think it's an important topic just because we, of course, stress academic literacy. And I think one of the things that sometimes in the college and university systems that falls through the cracks is financial literacy. Right. We prepare them academically to go out into the world, and then they don't know how to manage their money. And it become quite a challenging situation for any student or graduate. So thank you for for that effort. I think that's a worthwhile effort. For the
thank
students.
You.
I got a quick question, just maybe for Mr. Cherry. Awesome, and congratulations. I mean, the things that you all have done with this Veteran Center are just awesome. I mean, we talk about, giving our veterans an improved opportunity for success through education. It's just a question. I didn't know if this chapter, or you talked about applying for some things in the future. Is there a component in there that would actually, where this college could actually become a hub to where we connect these educated students with actual job or employment opportunities?
Yeah, that's a great question, and we actually have something in the works around that. We're meeting as a consortium of colleges here very soon, different schools that all support military and veteran students, and we're working on how we can interact and engage together to provide that kind of networking for our student veterans. And so that's one of the questions that continues to come up. Just because a student went to Kansas City, Kansas Community College doesn't mean that they couldn't network with someone in Columbia or St. Louis or Topeka. And so that's a consortium organization that we're working with, and we're trying to get more involved in that as well. And so we have our first meeting coming up this semester, and we're excited about going to that. That's something I'm going to write down and I'll take back, and we'll see if we can move that forward as well. That's a great idea. It's good. Good. Thanks.
Any other comments? Maybe the motion to accept the report.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the report. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Now we'll hear from our Information Services, Mr. Peter Gabriel.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You have my report. I just wanted to touch on a couple things with that report. We talked about the new phone system that'll give us the ability to put phones in the classrooms. The system's in, we've been trained, and now we're starting to work on placing the phones in the classroom. That'll take a little time. I was hoping to be done by the end of March, but hopefully the end of April now. And just to point back at the live stream that we did for the KCKCC and JCCC basketball games, we had 524 people view that live stream, so getting some good traffic there. And I noticed the traffic to our website, as opposed to February, or from the increase from the previous month, was up anywhere between 11 and 16% to the website. So some good increase in traffic. So other than that, some little note for students. Well, actually, students, faculty, employees, and everyone. We've enabled single sign-on for a couple of applications, including all of the Office 365 suite. So if you use the Outlook Online or well, it's portal.com or portal.office.com, office.com, the variations to get to that. You'll sign in the first time with your email address, and as long as you're signed into a machine here on campus, it will not require your password, because it pulls that from the way you log into the machine. So it's a step. We're trying to bring in more of that with our applications. We hope to move that to Web Advisor and some of the other applications soon. So it's been good. I think that's it.
Move approval of the report.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. We accept the report. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks, Peter.
All right, now we will hear from Human Resource Officer, Ms. Christina McGee.
I do want to have a quick follow-up to the consent agenda item for Jonathan Freeman. I did check. His initial start date is 3/8/2019, so we'll update that for the next report, and I'm checking on the other individual, James Zeeb, with regards to his effective date.
All right, thank you so much.
And so you have my report in front of you. We've completed our supervisor training, or it will be completed this Thursday. So we've had some really good participation from that supervisor training that we've developed. And from there, we will continue to add on additional training for supervisors, as well as looking at other training for employees as well. So good participation, good feedback. And so we're looking forward to this upcoming year and identifying additional training for those supervisors. With regards to the employee relations piece, we've met with our staff senate. Every time that we hear questions that staff senate may have that are related to HR, or we're just getting some feelers out in terms of questions or concerns, we try to make ourselves available to the staff senate and just answer any questions. So they have provided us with a list of questions for us to answer at their regularly scheduled meetings. And so we've done that this month as well, just in an effort to really answer any questions that they may have. If there's any concerns, we make sure that we're speaking out about those, or answering or following up with them. So we've done that this month, and then we're also in the process of planning the employee recognition dinner as well. So those are some of the initiatives that we're working on. I've also provided updates with regards to the other items and projects that we've been working on in HR as well. Any questions?
Yeah, what's the kind of general focus of your supervisor training?
So some of it is compliance and soft skills. So in that training, we discuss progressive disciplinary process, evaluations, how to conduct an effective evaluation. We also discuss as well as our leave process, just to make sure that there's a clear understanding of that, the hiring process, making sure that employees and supervisors know what's the appropriate and effective way to conduct a legal and effective search. So those are some of the topics that we cover during the training.
Christina, did I see a date or a save the date for the employee recognition? Do you have a date?
It's May 3rd.
May 3rd. Okay, thank you.
As part of that training, do we have any modules on cultural competency or diversity and inclusion or implicit bias and things of that nature?
Yes, so there's an hour-long session on diversity and inclusion as well for supervisors.
How about those other areas, like implicit bias?
In the conversation, implicit bias is discussed, but there's not a specific training focused on implicit bias. It's encompassed into the diversity and inclusion training.
Okay. Move approval of the report.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the report. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. All right, now we'll hear from the Finance and Administrative Services, Mr. Mike Beach.
I'm grateful to be back and to be before you tonight. Trustee Garner, I appreciated your question about the training. I'm actually going through the training right now in the cycle, and today was actually one of my favorite sessions. It was the one that challenged me the most because I had to be very vulnerable. And one of the things that people don't like is being vulnerable, but it was the diversity inclusion one where we had discussions about bias and overcoming them. And one of the things we had to talk about was a bias that we had formed at some point in time in our life, but then overcame it. And like I said, it causes you or forces you to be vulnerable to the group, which instills trust. One of the things that I learned today is that one of the greatest keys we have, which is fortunate that we're in this business, in overcoming biases, is education. And so, and that's not a bias. On my report, just briefly, we have division leaders, department heads, deans busily working on getting their zero-based budgeting budgets for 2019-2020 all put together, hopefully submitted sometime in the middle to end of next week. In the report, we have a lot of things going on, a lot of good things happening. Our facilities services group continues to do a great job with balancing a number of projects around campus. A lot of remodels going on as you walk around. A lot of good things that are changing the look and the feel of our campus departments and classrooms. And so our hats go off to them and being able to do a great job there. In our auxiliary services area, in my report, I reported that we had an inspection. This was a follow-up inspection that came out with a couple of more items. These were new items that came out, a couple of additional items that came out in this follow-up inspection that were getting cleaned up. These are not significant issues. The cafeteria is open and running and functional with no problems, and these things will come up periodically. If we don't address them, of course, they can become very significant and have a negative impact on the operations, but I have the assurances of the team that they're addressing these issues, they're getting them resolved, and that there's a process being put in place to better internally monitor our compliance with those particular areas, food handling and whatnot, relating to those inspections.
Isn't that actually a pretty good learning experience for the students? I mean, you don't want that to happen, but in real life, that's probably a pretty good thing for those students to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Somebody's coming through and they're observing that there are problems, you got to fix them. Probably part of the learning experience.
Yeah, yep, it would be. The other great news that we have to report is I just met with Chief Snyder this morning or yesterday, our Chief of Police, and they're on this rotation list that they get put on every once in a while for used police vehicles, and they were able to find one at a very good cost for the college that's already outfitted and ready to go. So we don't have a lot of time trying to get it outfitted and ready to go. All we have to do is get our logos put on it, but a very favorable cost, very good deal, and so that we're able to meet their needs this year with the request of an additional vehicle for them. And they continue to do some great things here on campus. So, any questions on my report?
The snow removal cost this year, right? Kind of played catch up for the last previous couple of years where we didn't have that. Wow.
Yeah,
that was a hit.
We're over budget, and not as bad as I thought we were going to be. But we are over budget in that category, but nothing so alarming that contingency won't be able to pick it up, or that we don't have the resources to manage it. But yeah, we did get hit hard, and we hope that those only come every 1 or 7 or 8 years, like we're experiencing. Yeah. Not every year.
Yeah, we've been spoiled, but wow.
So,
yep. This year. Yeah.
So.
There are tremendous comments across the campus on what a terrific job they did, though. I mean, you never hear about that. Usually you hear about how poor of a job someone has done, but people are always saying, boy, your roads and your parking lots are beautiful, and you're driving down, the city road, and it's not all fully taken care of yet. And as soon as you get on campus, it's beautiful. So yeah, keeping everyone safe.
Yeah, we think our service provider in that area did a really good job. For the most part, despite all of the snow we had and the size of those snowstorms and the length of time in which they lasted, for the most part, Marx Brothers only had to come one time for each snowstorm and clear it off. Last year they came multiple times over some of these storms. And so that's pretty phenomenal in being able to hold the costs as low as, even though we're over budget, holding the costs as low as they possibly could by being a little more proactive on their timing relative to when they come and treat. And it had a very direct impact on how much snow they'd have to remove or not have to remove, which was a cost savings to the college. So I really appreciate the good work that they did, our police department and our facilities group, in coordinating the efforts with them and getting them here, at just those right times to be able to treat and get in, get out, and save us money. Other questions?
Move approval of the report.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the report. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much.
Great job.
Thank you.
All right. According to the agenda, we don't have any unfinished business. Is that correct? That we need to address. All right, we'll go on to new business.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I actually have one adjustment. This is actually my error. At the beginning of the agenda, we removed the second item of new business, thinking that was the special tuition and fees that was approved last month. Mr. Beach reminded me this is the regular tuition and fees. So if we may make that adjustment to add that back to the agenda, I apologize for that error.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you for that.
Been moved and seconded, we re-add the fiscal year 2020 tuition and fees.
Have we seen these?
This will be a discussion.
We saw.
I won't be discussing.
So just a discussion, not a movement, not
Yes.
an action.
Well, there'll be a following action after the discussion. We discussed it in the Finance Committee and bringing it to the committee.
Okay.
To the board. So, thank you. The first item that we have, as Ms. McGee mentioned, that we do have the annual employee recognition and retirement dinner coming up on Friday, May 3rd from 6 to 8 p.m. So we're really looking forward to that, to celebrate and honor our employees. And with that, we have a alcohol resolution that I'd like to read to you now and request your approval. A resolution regarding the consumption of alcoholic liquor in accordance with KSA 41-719D, whereas Kansas statutes enacted 41-719D prohibits the consumption of alcoholic liquor on public property except where expressly permitted by law, and whereas Kansas City, Kansas Community College, KCKCC, is authorized under Kansas law to exempt from the provisions of KSA 41-719D specified property which is under the control of the KCKCC Board of Trustees and which is not used for classroom instruction. Now therefore be it resolved by the KCKCC Board of Trustees, Section 1, exemption Friday, May 3rd, 2019 from 6 to 8 p.m. The requested exempted area is the large multi-purpose room in the Dr. Thomas R. Burke Technical Education Center, TEC, from the requirement of KSA 41-719D. Section 2, this exemption is granted in connection with the annual employee recognition and retirement dinner, and I ask for your approval.
A motion of approval?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept this resolution. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Great.
opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, and we look forward to a great event on that night. And so again, I apologize for the confusion. March is the time of year that we discuss the regular tuition and fees for our students, whether they're in district, out of district, regional or out of state. At this time last year, we actually reduced the tuition for Wyandotte County residents, which is a wonderful thing to do for the residents of our county and the taxpayers of our county. At this point, as we examine the existing fees, what I am looking at is the current fees that are being assessed, also where we stand as an institution fiscally. So with the additional income that we have coming into the college, I see no reason to increase the fees on our students at this time. Also with the special projects and the expansion opportunities that we have ahead of us, we do need resources to build and grow the college. So at this point, I also recommend that we do not decrease the fees. So at this point, I would like to request the board's approval that the fees for FY 2020 remain the same as they stand this year for FY 2019.
So moved.
Before you go to that, I know it was brought out in the Finance Committee. If you have that information in front of you, can you update the board on how we stand in comparison to our community college neighbors in the metro area as far as our fees and tuition?
Absolutely. I don't have the specific dollars in front of me, but I'm really glad to report that we are much more affordable and the lowest community college in our region, lower than Johnson Community College and lower than MCC, KC, and our in-district, out-of-district, metro district, and out-of-state fees. Thank you. Our in-district fees are about $15 per credit hour, lower than Johnson Community College, approximately lower than $20 per credit hour than MCC, KC, and as the fees increase for those other areas, our value increases the same. So thank you for mentioning that.
Any other questions?
Dilly dilly.
Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we approve the fiscal year 2020 tuition and fees. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Great, thank you. And then the final item I have, every 2 years we have the opportunity to visit with our faculty and discuss items that we have in the master contract. So March is the time that we engage with that. So I have met with the faculty KNEA KCKCC president, Mr. Ernie May, this month, and we have talked about some of the items that we have in the contract. Before you, I have a draft intent to negotiate letter that we will present to Mr. May at the end of the month. And what I ask is that you would please review that in relationship to contract items. And please let me know if you see any additions, deletions, or adjustments that you would like made. And if you would please send your information to Chair Brown. She will accumulate that information and send it to me. And we ask that you can look at it and send your response by Monday night, a week from last night. Any questions with that? Or?
Any questions?
It's a very good time to engage with our faculty on how we provide instruction.
All right, we'll take that in consideration for review. All right.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you so much. Now, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.